Hello and welcome to the Rooster News. Earlier this morning, Supreme Court had rejected an appeal to transfer hijab law on an urgent basis from High Court to Supreme Court. After this rejection, three judges bench of Karnataka, the Chief Justice of Karnataka, Rituraj Avasthi, and two other judges began to hear this case, and later this court was adjourned for 14th of February. Here there are few interesting things, like what is the role of Congress? As Karnataka BJP's president, Anil Kumar Katil, he had accused Congress for creating a toolkit, and with the help of toolkit, Congress is playing a communal card. To answer all these questions, we have Tamil Nadu Congress State Committee member, Mr. Mohan Kumaramangalam. Sir, hello. So there is an allegation on Congress that Congress had created a toolkit, and based on this toolkit, the entire hijab law is, became such ugly thing in the country.
Is that so?
This is a bit ridiculous. I mean, it's how did this whole thing take place? One, is this new? So from a friend of mine who actually was collector in Udupi, who has been collector in Udupi in the past, told me that there are these local flare-ups that have happened around issues such as this in the past, and the local administration actually takes it upon themselves to make both parties sit down and sort out the issues. Any flare-up that happens in the communities and reaches to a crescendo the way it is reached in this particular case really happens when the administration either abdicates responsibility locally or actually fans the flames of this conflict to increase it. And who's in power right now in Karnataka? It is the Bharatiya Janata Party. Now, the issue as it stands is that suddenly a GO comes out that says that hijabs are not allowed in government colleges and schools. This is a GO that is based on, as was argued by the prosecutor today, by the petitioner's lawyer today in court in Karnataka High Court, is based on three previous judgments that have actually absolutely nothing to do with this particular case. One of the judgments about that hijab is for a private minority institution. It doesn't pertain to public institutions and doesn't mention Article 25 anywhere in the Constitution, which affords these young women the right to wear hijab. Right? The other, which is the right to practice their religion, profess their religion, propagate their religion. The second case there is actually about girls in a girls' institution, where the hijab is not applicable actually, because for the purposes of the hijab does not have value there in that sense. And the third case actually was about the uniform as it pertains to teachers. Again, it had nothing to do with this particular case. None of the three cases actually pertain to Article 25, which is what is being argued here. Now, unfortunately, the Karnataka High Court decided to violate a fundamental right and go ahead and say that there should be no religious symbols in schools until they come out and pass an order, and the hearing is continuing on Monday.
Yes.
So this is unprecedented that they decided that they can put in abeyance a fundamental right granted under Article 25 of the Constitution. If they basically surrender to the mob that has been artificially created in Udupi and other places in Karnataka, where members of Hindutva right-wing brigade have actually distributed saffron scarves and distributed saffron turbans to the right-wing to actually get them to artificially fabricate a confrontation where none existed. These girls are wearing hijabs because it is their choice, it is their religion. The young men and women who are actually wearing saffron scarves and saffron turbans are doing it only to create a confrontation at the behest of these right-wing groups. And the echo of this goes beyond Karnataka. It is being done specifically for the Uttar Pradesh elections that are happening right now, which is why this issue has boiled up into a national issue so fast.
Sir, there is another allegation which Karnataka's President Nalin Kumar had raised, that Congress's state president, Karnataka state president, DK Shivakumar is behind all these things, and he is trying to create a wrong impression in the world stage.
And actually, Mr. DK Shivakumar has been extremely mature in this particular case. He has not overtly gone ahead and pushed any one side of the argument. In fact, he was, I think, one of the first political leaders in Karnataka to call for a shutting down of the institutions and to actually sort out the issue so that there isn't a case where this could blow into a full-blown riot between two communities. So he has actually been, in my mind, one of the most mature politicians in Karnataka as it pertains to this incident.
So there is the Maharashtra government. It is like NCP, Congress, and Shiva Sena, where Congress Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar clearly says, we should avoid instance which can divide the public more. This is what the statement from Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra on the same end. Another minister, Aditya Thackeray, he says, students should wear uniform in the schools or colleges, which is, given by the authorities.
So there is a divide here there is a conflict.
I don't see the divide, because see, this question of uniform is what is being spoken about by many people here. But this goes beyond the uniform. They are wearing the uniforms handed to them by the colleges at that point. This is part of their religion. Are you going to tell a Sardar that he can't wear a pagadi to school?
True.
So this actually is a question that the education and uniform thing is just something that's being touted. And I don't know those particular leaders you mentioned. I haven't seen their statement. So I don't know if it's with what context they said it or what was said along with those particular statements. So I can't comment to that. But I can tell you that this whole education and uniform thing is just something that is being put out there to hide the real issue here. The issue one is similar to the Sabrimala issue, in fact. It is whether the hijab is part of their essential religious practices. Now, it is unfortunate that even in Sabrimala, this had to be decided by a court at the end of the day, because this is not a trivial thing to decide. You're asking for a third party who's trained in law to decide about matters of religion, matters of culture and practices. But this is now, given that, our leaders and given that those in government are more incentivized to create divide in society, rather than perpetuate peace and harmony in society, you will have to then unfortunately go to the courts only to decide this question. But at the heart of it, this is the question whether the hijab is an essential religious practice that comes under Article 25, that therefore those girls cannot be denied their right to wear the hijab when they go to school.
There is another discussion which is happening on the social media that this was created to support Uttar Pradesh election, where BJP is in the back foot, and to create a religion, angle to this and give more support to BJP over social media by spreading all these videos. Uttar Pradesh election. Yes. So this is a discussion which is going on social media and other platforms. So how do you see this? Is that true that BJP is trying to communalize the issue to get benefit in Uttar Pradesh elections?
I mean, they've already started that earlier itself. I think many of the statements that Yogi Adityanath made with the 80-20 that he said, 80% is an 80% versus 20% election. The 20% won't vote anyway. He's referring to the Muslim population in Uttar Pradesh. Yes. So if there is enough anti-incumbency amongst the Hindu population in Uttar Pradesh that they are seeing on the ground, and many people are saying that it exists, he could be using this as a tactic to unify. But this is typical of them. This is what they did in Muzaffarnagar last time. This is what they did pretty heavily in the Delhi program that happened, where Arvind Kejriwal, who says he's a secular person, on the ground was countering BJP's Jai Shri Ram with Jai Bajrang Bali. He was running a soft Hindutva campaign. In a way, maybe he had no other choice because of how polarized the environment had become with the program that was done in Delhi. So this is half of the cause for BJP. This is what they live for. This is what they do. They don't deliver on any of the actual tangible things that matter to the public, whether it be jobs or the growth of the economy, right? Or things of that nature, health. Focus on dividing so that they can get first past the post.
Even in the parliament, Prime Minister Modi said there is a Tukde gang, and a particular political party became the leader of.
I think Mr. Chidambaram probably gave the best response to that in Parliament when he rose in his response to the budget speech, where he said that when the government themselves were asked about who are members of the Tukde gang, they said they have no data. So I now look forward to the Prime Minister in his next speech actually revealing who the members of the Tukde gang are on record in government.
Right. So thanks a lot for your time, and you have it gave a lot of inputs on this. And I would like to see like what is the next reaction of Congress. Is Congress is again going on the roads in support of these women, these young women, or Congress is again going to be
Our Congress MLA in the region actually did go on the ground and support those women. They did. At this point, the thing to do is to actually ask for and request for peace and harmony in that area, not to actually go ahead and agitate more.
Right. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
We've seen what the right wing is able to do in terms of mobilizing and
Yes.
the goons that exist in the area.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So
yes.
that leads to a very potentially explosive situation that we want to prevent.
Let's wait for February 14th when the Karnataka High Court will come up again with some more directions, or it may give a verdict on this. Until then, we'll meet again on 14th evening once the verdict is out.
Thank you, Rahul.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.